Mother thinks that she owns me and demands that I move back home to help with the bills and childcare, so I punched her in her goodie bag and put her face down on the floor. I moved out of my parents' house at 18 because I really couldn't stand them. They were jerks, favored my younger siblings, used me as free childcare, told me what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine, and all that BS. When I left, my dad told me not to let the door hit me on my way out and don't come back. I got the smallest and cheapest apartment I could find and have worked the same full-time job for 2 years. My parents didn't even hold out a month before calling me and begging me to come back home. Because without me, someone else had to watch my siblings. I refused because now I finally had time for myself. My mom eventually called me and actually demanded I move back home and pay them rent instead because family is more important than my personal independence. I said back to her that my life is important too. And for once, I'm getting to live for myself. So she basically said, well then, see how long you can last without us. And we didn't talk for months. I don't know what she was hoping for. I managed well enough by myself. My family seemed to slowly accept that I wasn't going to come crawling back. And over time, we appeared to mend things. I could tell they were having a hard time dealing with the fact things were on my terms and not theirs. Not long ago, I bought myself a used Nintendo Switch. Though could only afford one game for it at the moment, which is Mario Kart. I got it bundled with the console for a good deal. My dad came by on a Saturday and asked me to watch my 2 youngest siblings for a while. He basically pushed them in the door at me and ran. And I was stuck with these 2 rowdy kids all day in my tiny apartment. My dad didn't come back until after 9 p.m. And that was because I called him and made him come get the kids. And he really didn't like that I cut his fun time short. I said that unless he wanted to pay me, I wasn't going to be watching my siblings all day anymore. And next time I won't even open the door, and I'll call the cops if he just leaves them outside. The next morning, I realized I couldn't find my Switch anywhere. So I called my parents. And like I thought, one of my siblings took it. I said I was coming over to get it right away, but my dad said it could wait because my youngest sibling was gaming on it, and he didn't have the heart to take it away. I said it was taken without my permission, and I will be taking it back. I got on my bike and rode there ASAP, and when I arrived, my sibling was crying because the Switch's battery had gone dead and they didn't have the charger. I told them to give it back. But my mom took it and said I could have it back when I agreed to start helping out with my siblings more. I told her if that's how she wanted to play this, I'd get police involved. And no, I was not bluffing. She dug her heels in and insisted I wouldn't do it until I pulled my phone out and started dialing. My dad yelled wait, and hurriedly took my Switch back from my mom. She called him a traitor and demanded he return it to her instead of me. But he said it wasn't worth having police called on them. Before leaving, I told them if this ever happens again, I'd be calling the police first. And if they want a Switch for my siblings so bad, they can get their own. My mom yelled that I couldn't disrespect her like that. And I countered that even though I'm an adult, she's not bothered to ever show an ounce of respect to me, and I'd had enough. Then I walked out with her yelling at me to come back and face her. Right now it's back to silence from them. My dad texted me once begging me to still watch my siblings. I said that if he wanted me to babysit so badly, he could pay me, and I'd only take the money in advance because I'm not doing it for free anymore. Especially after they stole from me and tried to keep me from returning my property. They don't own me. I'm an adult with my own place and my own life, and they can either get used to it or get lost. Update. Well, I waited and waited, but there was no contact between us for around 3 months since the last time my dad called, and I refused to watch my siblings without being paid. Then it finally hit. My parents called me all of a sudden wanting me to babysit, and they acted like the prior incident with the Switch never happened. I told them I was not going to babysit unless they paid me, and it'd have to be a day that I had off work. My mom got furious as usual and said that I needed to man up and help out. So I pointed out that she needs to stop acting like she has control over me. She started yelling violently into the phone, and my dad took it away from